Okay, here we are. I'm going to paint a monochromatic image, and what I want to talk about is getting your reference shots. Shooting outside. You know, I got a friend of mine to go out and pose for me. We just went to the back of a coffee shop and we took shots from outside. Then I went in, edited them like you can do on your phone. You can edit, turn them black and white, and then crop them. So I took these shots, simple, in the back of the camera shop, in the back of a coffee shop, and just took these images. The thing is, you can't be in, working inside. You'd have to have special photography lighting or something like that. You can see with some of the shots I took inside and in the wrong situation, just to show you the how the camera automatically gets these high ISOs. Even on your phone, you'll have a high ISO, and you can see how it starts posterizing and the images start getting soft. But when you walk outside, your camera does really sharp images, fills in the light and the dark, and you can get some interesting things. And these are just shot outside, simply and easy. Now, I'm going to do washes. I've set up with my brushes. I have large brush for painting backgrounds. This is about 1 inch acrylic type brush. This is down to a flat chisel brush. For bigger details, I have a sable brush. And then when I get down to my finer details, I'm going to use a number 2 sable brush to do my lines and get into the details. But you can see I used the whole 8.5 by 11. I blew it up to what I needed. This is an 8 by 10 canvas. These things are like $3 or $4 at Michael's. They're very cheap. And I'm going to transfer. I'm going to lay this out on here. I'm going to transfer it, charcoal to the back of it, and do my thing. Okay, so I've transferred the main lines that I need from this picture to the canvas, and now we're going to work. I'm going to use this as my reference. Next thing you can do is come back and use a pen. I have a brush pen, or you can use a Sharpie. And this is just because I want to put down a wash, an acrylic wash over this, and I want to be able to see the line work. Another way to do this is put it down with charcoal and spray it with fixative like you would your charcoal projects in drawing. But you can just take a Sharpie and do a line, do your lines. Okay, so I put in the line work. This will stay. Now the next thing I need to do is I have the acrylic medium. This is Mod Podge to spread out your medium. It just keeps your colors a little brighter. And then I have my brushes here. I have water for cleaning the brushes. Acrylic will dry on your paint brushes, and if it does, it dries into a plastic form, so it's no longer soluble. You just basically you'll lose your brushes if you let the paints dry on them. These acrylics will this is going to be a monochromatic. So with the monochromatic, I'm picking out one color that's going to be my main color. I like on the golden, they actually put like, they have transparency and opacity on the back of their tubes for golden. And a lot of times what you're looking for is this transparency. You want to use that to your advantage, where I'm going to lay down a flat overall, and then I'm going to lay down transparent colors, try to do it smoothly and evenly, and then layer up. So there'll be about 4 layers of colors coming back over this, and I want them to be transparent. You want them to be transparent. It creates some complexity in your paint, and it creates movement. You know, it becomes, every line you take becomes moving the eye. It's like the same shapes project we did in the very beginning of this class, where you're moving just abstract shapes across a blank field. Same thing gets transferred into painting. One of the things I like about painting by hand is that you're making a lot of decisions, making a lot of design decisions as you go. And this gets your mind ready for moving into designing stages, doing whatever you need to do. But this is the basic grammar. Okay, I have titanium white, I have burnt rose, and this is my palette. It's just a scrap piece of styrofoam. And this is I'm just trying to keep it simple. So I have burnt rose. I'm going to use my medium. I have my sketch up here to look at it. I'm going to put a little burnt rose on it. And then I'm going to get my color ready. And see how I look for it to be transparent. I'm putting the medium in it. And you can see how the lines, when you put it, you can see through it, and then you have this medium on it. When you use water, it gets muddy and you can kind of see it breaking up, but the medium actually kind of holds the acrylic together so that it behaves better, lasts longer. It's just a better way to mix your paints. And then I just lay it down across the whole thing. This is one of the things that really helps. When the paint comes out of the tube, it's a heavy body. It's thick. It's almost like toothpaste. And then I'm putting the medium, like you could use your decoupage, and you can get it to where it gets a nice, easy to control fluidity to it, where you can put down lines and see the transparency. You want to work with that. You want to keep layering up. You want to let the strokes that you have underneath shine back up through the other layers, and build on that, plan on it, work with it. And that way you work in layers, you work in color depth, that colors right out of the tube are not very exciting, or they're hard to make exciting. But this way you get more colors than what's just in the tube. And you use this, and it helps keep the paint fluid and structured, as opposed to using water. Water breaks down the paint, it muddies it. So this helps keep it clear. Anyway, there you go. Okay, we got this. So I'm using the water to rinse my brush off. Great. Okay. Now I can thinking about doing the hair. I might just get it wet and try something like that. But in the meantime, I only have one color to work with, and I'm using white to lighten it up. Okay, it's going to be too big a brush. I'm going to switch out. This is where you want to be careful, but not too careful, but you still want to be able to see through your paints as you put it down. This is another thing where it's really, I emphasize this because when I was taught to paint, it was emphasized to me as putting down a single stroke. So I can see through, I want to see through, I want the strokes to go. I want to be able to see the eye, but I want to have these strokes going in the right direction, so I'm going right over it. Trying to put down single strokes, follow the form of the face. And when it comes to highlights, usually the bottom lip is one of the highest, brightest points on a face. And we'll come back to that. I need to let this dry before I put the next layer on. So you can see that I have a strategy going here. I painted in all of my paintings at the same time with the same color base. And my first one is almost dry. The white's still a little tacky, but I should be able to come back. But you can see, you know, I believe sincerely that the key to painting is just doing a stroke. I line up where I'm going to put the stroke, what I'm looking at, and then I put it in with a single stroke. I don't keep massaging it. You can't keep brushing it into a good painting. You have to, the trick is really to know where you're going with the stroke and put it in and leave it, and not keep messing with it. It's just what I found works the best. Even if I was painting abstraction or minimalist paintings or anything else, I would put down as quick a stroke to keep it fresh and to keep it moving. I'm going to paint in the white area. Okay. Okay, so I've washed my brush out about 3 times so far. I'm down to where I want to start doing more detailed, closer things. So I want to start matching the values with just the white and the burnt red. I want to start just trying to match the values that I see on the picture. And I'm using this medium to get the paint down to a nice loose texture. What comes out of your tube is a heavy body paint, so it's difficult to just move it around. It starts moving around like toothpaste, kind of like a heavy body. And now I'm using this to thin it down so it moves a little more smoothly across the canvas. And you see how I'm still not trying to smooth out any of my strokes. I'm just putting it down there, just going at it. I probably will come back with a black pattern on the hair, or a dark, mix some of this red in to get it down as dark as possible. That's what I'm thinking. I'm going to come back and try to put some highlights. Rinse my brush, dry it off. Go to my white, and you can see I have this big white field for a palette, so I can kind of see where what my paint's going to do when I put it down. If I was painting digitally, this would be my little digital palette over here. I'm setting my color till I get it just like I want. It's just when I'm painting digitally, you can do a command Z, back it up. One little dot, little touch. Still needs more, but now one thing about the Sharpie that I'm finding is that it does bleed back up through the paint. So try to do as little as possible as far as the Sharpie goes. We'll see how it goes, but probably at the finish of this piece you'll see the Sharpie still coming back up through the painting. That's not good. A Sharpie, or no, charcoal and spray fixative would work a lot better. Yeah, that's a definite problem. Don't use a Sharpie. It bleeds through. So I've made a mistake, and I put down this Sharpie, and the Sharpie keeps bleeding back through the paint. So something's activating it, and it just wants to keep coming back up. So that's no good. And you can really see it. You can really see it on this one. And see how the purple's bleeding back up through, and I think maybe something's activating it. So that's going to work against me unless I put the Sharpie down with the intention of having it bleed back through. I have to get to this one later. But yeah, that's not fun. So I've used the red. Now I can come back, make this my analogous. So the next primary color next on the color wheel to the red is yellow. I'm going to put some yellow accents in here to make this an analogous color wheel. And then I want to paint this one as my full color version, but I've started with the same base to get the color unity all the way through it. Yeah. So as you can see through the videos, this is the one with all the colors, but I haven't added too much more colors than this is the analogous, which is red, yellow, red and yellow. And you can see the red coming through. A lot of black. And I'm holding with black through all of these pretty strongly. This is the full color. So I'm going to pepper in some more color into it a little bit more. But you can see my reference work. And then when I pull away from there, I still have the same values. It doesn't matter what colors you paint as long as you stay with the values, the lights and the darks. And as long as you stick with that in your painting, pay attention to some of the details, especially along the silhouette of the face, the edge. I think that's where we really identify people. But there you go.